Hello, my name is Aldri Frankel Kudusinga, and I'm a student of Bachelor of English, Faculty of Humanities, Udayana University. And this video is a project for the intermediate listening lesson assigned by Miss 381. MAGA figures criticize Trump over support for Israel strikes. President Donald Trump is now facing unexpected criticism from some of his most loyal supporters. This comes after his recent show of support for Israel military strike, a move that many within the MAGA community believes goes against his well-known American first and anti-war promises. This internal pushback marks a surprisingly move in Trump's political journey, one that could have serious consequences as he looks ahead to upcoming presidential race. Let's begin with a little background. Donald Trump built much of his political brand on the idea of putting American interests above all else. He repeatedly criticized previous U.S. presidents, both Democrat and Republican, for leading America into what he called endless war, particularly in the Middle East. His famous promises to bring American soldiers home, reduce military spending abroad, and stop the cycle of U.S. involvement in foreign conflict that, according to him, had little benefit for ordinary Americans. This American First message became one of the most powerful drives behind the MAGA movement. Trump supporters saw him as someone willing to challenge the Washington establishment and resist the powerful force that seems to push the US into unnecessary wars. But now that very image is being questioned. Recently, Donald Trump expressed public support for Israel military strike. His comments quickly gained attention, but not in the way he might expected. While Trump's support for Israel not new, he often described himself as one of the most pro-Israel presidents in history. What surprised many was his support directly military action at this particular time, especially considering his previous anti-war stance. For some of his most loyal supporters, this seems like a step backwards. A growing number of MAGA figures are now openly criticizing Trump's position, saying it contradicts that very promise he made was his run for office. What even more significant in this criticism is not coming from Trump's usual political opponents. This coming from inside his own movement. For years, the MAGA community has been seen as solid and almost unshakable in their loyalty to Trump. But now we are standing to see cracks. Some of his supporters are still standing by him, arguing that this could be a strategic decision of Trump's long-standing support for Israel is consistent with his past action. However, others believe this is a sign that Trump is no longer fully committed to the American First vision. This growing division raises an important question. Can the MAGA movement remain united if the leaders appear to move away from principles that brought them together? Looking back, it's important to remember that US involvement in the Middle East have often been a deeply controversial issue in American politics. Decades of war in Iraq and Afghanistan, along with US support in other regional conflicts, have left many Americans exhausted and skeptical of further military involvement. That exhaustion was part of what made Trump's anti-war promises so appealing in the first place. Trump successfully capitalized of his sentiment when he ran for office in 2019. He openly criticized both Republicans and Democrats for their foreign policies and positioning himself as the outsider who would stop America from being the world policeman. Now, this recent support for Israel military action, some of his supporters feel that he is stepping into the very role he promised to avoid. Major news outlets like CNN have also picked up on this story, focusing on how some MAGA figures are now distancing themselves from time over time. For the media, this internal criticism is significant because it challenges the common assumption that Trumpists will support him unconditionally. By highlighting this voice of dissent from within the MAGA community, the media is showing that even Trump's stronger supporters can and will speak when they believe he has crossed a line. For a political standpoint, this situation could have real consequences for Trump's future campaigns. His ability to win elections has always depended on his deep connection with his base. These enough supporters begin to feel that Trump is drifting away from the principle they believe in and could weaken his influence. Of course, it's also possible that this disagreement will fade with time. Trump has shown in the past that he can survive political storms, even when they come from his own side, but this time the criticism touched the heart of his political identity, the promise to put American first and stay out of foreign conflict. If his supporters begin question whether he still represents those ideas, that could have a lasting impact. At this point, it's not yet clear how Trump will respond. He will defend his decision and try to pursue his supporters that fits within his American First framework, or will he adjust his message to regain the trust of those who need feel disappointed? What's certain is the story is not over. We will likely continue to debates within the MAGA movement about American First remains, especially when it comes to foreign policy and military action. That concludes our detailed reports on this developing story. We will continue to follow this situation closely and provide updates as more reaction emerges. Thank you for joining me. I'm Aldri Franco Singa, and I'll see you in the next report.